Hey, it's Alice here from eKit Hub and wanted to run through really quickly on how to edit your card deck files. And as a little disclaimer, I am not a designer. I know how to make my way around Photoshop, so I thought I would be a great person to teach someone else who is also not a designer and who just wants to figure out how to make the changes that they need. So to start with, we're going to open up, I'm using Photoshop because the PSD files need to be edited in Photoshop. You can also use the free Photo P editor. It's a Photo PEA editor, one word, and if you Google it, you'll find it easily. But Photoshop is a great investment if you're going to be doing lots of print-on-demand products. It's a good quality product, produces high-quality images, gives you lots of control. So I'm going to, actually, I should back up just a bit, open up the file to edit it. So you'll see when you open your card deck file, you'll see instructions. So that, do go through those if you get confused. But we give you 4 different folders. If you want to edit the images at all, you need to open the PSDs. These other files I'll run through it real quickly. The instructions say it too, but just to give you a better idea. These marked up images for printing include the crop marks that I'm going to show you when I open this up, that are required by Vervanti before you put them in PDF format, which is covered in another video. So if your printer requires those crop marks, you need these ones. We also include a slideshow for self-printing. So we've laid out the images nicely on a page so someone can print them at home, make it easy. Please note though, if you're selling this as a digital download, you should make a PDF out of that PowerPoint file because your customers aren't allowed to have the editable files. Those editable files are for you in case you want to make changes before you send it out. The text-only images are with the crop marks removed, so they're the right size. So they look pretty much the same as these ones. They just don't have the crop mark and the extra image side on the extra space on this side in case your printer doesn't require that. Okay, so we want to open up the editable PSDs. And editing it is simple. I'm going to update this. Also, if you don't have the fonts, Photoshop will ask you and tell you what font you need to add. If you can obviously change the fonts, but you can work with what we have, but you'll just have to download the fonts for yourself. Although I've noticed, I think, in updated versions, it can maybe do that part of that process for you automatically. So you may or may not have to update. So what you want to do is look at the layers here. We're going to talk about these green lines and the yellow lines because they should not be on the end product for you. They are just suggested by the printer to ensure that you have the image formatted correctly. So let's just start with the text if you want to edit the text. Over here, I'm using a Mac, so where it might appear on yours, and also you could set it up. Photoshop has different settings, but you're looking for the layers. And the layers we have here, and it's the quote. So I'm going to double click it, which means I can edit the text however I want. I can move it around. I can do other stuff with it, right? So that's it. Now let's talk about these guides here. This is just to show you, well, first I'll say where these blue lines are the crop marks. They don't look exactly like that on the finished product. When I open in Photoshop, it looks like this. But when you do see the image, you'll see it's just a little line here in each corner, tiny little line that shows you the edges of the cards. The green line is just a guide. It's called the bleed area, where the printer says, this should appear in the card, but it's possible it won't. So you shouldn't put anything important there. No important stuff. The yellow is not going to appear in the card, so make sure you've designed your card correctly. Our cards are the text in the middle. You're not going to run into that problem. The back sides of the cards, you'll notice some of the image goes across the side, but that's fine because you could see what appears there. So in order to now, say, get it ready for printing, you want to turn these guides off. So see the little eye icon here? You turn it off and that will turn it on. Turn it off. Now we still have the crop marks, which we need if we're going to print for Vervante, and we're going to create a PDF next, which is in another video from Shannon, walks you through that. So we're going to keep it. Now, by chance, you don't need the crop marks for your printer, please keep in mind, or you're going to self-print or something, these are 2.5 by 3.5 inch cards but at the crop marks. This stuff on the outside makes them bigger. So if you want to make it the correct size, you're going to crop to the crop marks. I used crop here. It was already on there, so I didn't have to choose the setting. So then I could remove the crop marks, which shouldn't show anyways. So I turn the crop marks off, just leaving the quote there. And anytime you want to turn it back on, you can turn it back on. These don't delete the layer. You don't have to, don't delete the layers. You don't need to do that. You can just turn them off. And when you save them as a different format, or even if you save them as a PSD, that will always be there in case you want to bring it back. So now I cropped it. I can double check the size that I did. You can change, if yours might say pixels here, if you put it to inches, you can see the right size. Mine's a little bit off. I can just do 2.5. Now it's 2.5 by 3.5 inches, but I don't think that would make a difference, much difference with your printer with that small amount. Then we also, if you're going to create a PDF for printing with Vervante or wherever you're going to print, you can make that from a PSD or a PNG, any format, file format. So you don't actually have to change it to anything else if you're going to PDF it, and you can watch the next video on how to create the PDF. If you are going to use it elsewhere and you need a JPEG or something like that, or a PNG, you can do that here. So you do save as, choose your file format, and that's it. I'm not going to hit save, or otherwise I'm going to have extra stuff in my file folder that I don't want. But that's basically it. Nothing too complicated. Obviously, if you want to do fancier designs, add images, then that requires some other Photoshop skills that are easily learnt, and there's lots of great videos on YouTube for all those different things you want to learn. Also, if you ever get stuck in Photoshop, there's the help. It will find what you're looking. Actually, let's see how to crop images. Why is it not appearing? I'm trying to say how great they are, and now I feel like they're not doing it. But anyway, sometimes when you search for something and you click this, it'll actually take you to the right place in Photoshop. So there's all these things and you can't find it. It'll guide you through there. So take it step by step. But editing the text and getting them ready for printing, super simple. And I hope you enjoy your card decks and your customers do too. Thanks.